Paul, these aren't scare tactics, you're saying. Surely if there were a government representative, he or she would say, no, we're not saying that at all, Paul. What we're saying is we need a certain level of teachers or nurses or firefighters in place. We're not threatening bullying action such as strikes. Paul Novak.
The legislation is very clear, Nick, that people could lose their jobs if they fail to comply with these minimum service level orders. And that's one thing that doesn't happen anywhere else in Europe. And the government has been very fond about talking about minimum service levels in other countries. The fact is, in the UK, you could lose your job if you didn't follow that request to come into work. We think that that's completely untenable. So we're calling on all MPs, actually, to oppose the legislation, and at the very least calling on Conservative MPs to support the House of Lords amendments, which would remove that threat of a worker being sacked for exercising a fundamental right. If that's what the government is saying, then put the money where their mouth is, support that amendment and take that threat away.
And just lastly on that, how confident are you that when it comes to disputes, and we'll touch on those in a moment, Paul, when it comes to disputes involving fire service or the NHS, that a minimum level is always put in by the relevant staff? How confident are you that happens on each occasion?
Well, you only have to look at what did happen during the industrial action in the NHS, Nick. And I was on those picket lines, as you know, with paramedics who worked very closely with their employers to make sure they provided emergency cover. And this is, it's not just the TUC saying this legislation is problematic. The rail employers, the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development, others on the employer side of the table have warned that this potentially could exacerbate industrial relations problems, prolong strikes. And as I say, it's a bill that's not fit for purpose, and MPs should vote it down.